Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer. Today what I want to do is I want to talk about my vlogging rig. Basically go over this setup, why I like it, you know, and some of the downfalls from this rig, but mostly it's perks because it works really well for me. As far as a video camera to shoot vlogs with or tutorials or whatever, this little camera works exceptionally well for that. This camera is light. It's a very small form factor. Of course, I've got it built into this huge rig. So if I unplug this connector, pull the back cover off, and then loosen this little tension screw, this keeps it from rattling around in the cage. This is the whole camera. It's all built into one neat little clean package. Okay, it's not waterproof currently because I've got the side door off so I can plug in that USB-C cable for my mic. So I know that I can't submerge it. Now, you know, you can be out in the rain and the cage will keep most of the water out of it. So I haven't had any issues with that. I just snug this down a little bit and then you plug in the GoPro adapter so that the microphone will work. And there it is. The radio, the camera comes equipped basically when I use it in a cage to protect it so it doesn't get beat up. The cage also gives me things that the GoPro doesn't have from the factory. One is it gives me a filter thread. This is a 52mm filter thread. It allows me to run this ND filter on it so I can adjust, you know, how dark the sun is, and I can actually get it to where I can run 1/48 shutter speed and I can run 24 frames per second and I can get that normal kind of movement. Filming currently with the iPhone because it's kind of hard to film with this and talk about it at the same time. But the camera works really well for what I do with it. It's not the perfect camera, but I've yet to find one that is. I use the Rode Video Micro. This is basically a 3.5mm connector, all right, on both ends. And that's a problem because the GoPro has no such input. It has a mini HDMI and a USB-C. It's the only two connection ports on the camera. So you have to buy this very expensive adapter to couple the 3.5mm microphone into the GoPro. That's unfortunate. I really wished you could run them straight into the camera. And I had real high hopes when I saw that new DJI action camera that it would have a 3.5mm input and they would have listened to the masses, but no, they don't have one either. You got to run a stupid adapter with that camera too. I run a extender. This is a little mini ball head. I don't even remember where I got it. I just dug around. You know, everybody that's got photography gear has a box full of little tiny pieces and bits and widgets. This came out of that box. And all it does is it gives me about 1.5 inches of height that I wouldn't normally have between the cage and the microphone. And by doing that, it allows me to get the wind muff out of the shot. That's the only reason it's on here. I just use that as an elevator. I've thought about making me a tower a couple of times that didn't have all this extra hardware on it. It'd make it a little bit lighter, make it out of aluminum, but I just haven't done it. It's just convenient. And also, what does work out with this is since it's on a quarter 28 stud, I can literally just spin this thing around behind itself, and then when I'm doing shots where I'm filming something in front of me, I can capture the audio of myself. That works pretty well. Down here on the tripod, I don't run the Joby. I had one for a while, and the joints wear fairly quickly, and it gets to where it doesn't do what it was originally designed to do pretty fast. So because of that, I moved to a regular tripod. Now this is the little Manfrotto Pixie, I think is what they call it. And it's got, you know, it's got adjustable legs. You can set it at different heights and they click. But, you know, you can run them out a little longer or leave them short, whatever. And it makes a nice little grip, collapse down. It gives you a nice handle to hold on to it. Plus it's got a ball head for leveling it. Now I've added a, what do they call it, an Arca Swiss base plate to it. Now, and it's a fairly big one with a big knob on it and all that. And that allows me to rapidly take this off and I can separate the camera from it. so that if I wanted to just set this down on a table to get a lower angle or something, I can. You know, it just gives me that functionality where I can just sit it down, you know. It also allows me, I have an iPhone camera mount that's Arca Swiss. It's an aluminum one, and I can stick it on here. It gives me that choice as well. As far as my settings and my camera go, I'll power it up. All right, sometimes it takes a minute. Okay. I'm gonna get the camera and show you what I'm looking at here, but I'm gonna go through it. The settings is a button in the middle back. All right, I run ProTune on. Okay, I'm using ProTune. All right, I'm setting it at, come on now. I run it at 1080 HD and are at 24 frames per second. Linear field of view. I run 1/48 shutter speed. Auto white balance. Minimum ISO is 100, maximum ISO is 400. I run medium sharpness. I use the GoPro color. I don't shoot a flat profile, and I do that on purpose. I shot a flat profile a couple times, and it takes a good bit of work to get that graded in and make it look like something. But what I have found is the color profile from the GoPro camera looks really good right out of camera, and it saves me a bunch of time in editing. So I just decided to go ahead and just try and use it, and I've really enjoyed the results. If I get the light pretty decent, the GoPro color functionality works fine. Now it says here the raw audio is off, the mics is in auto, in other words it's detecting this mic automatically. And then ProTune settings reset is obviously a function that you wouldn't want to turn on unless you just wondering. I got stabilization set to auto, of course. Low light is not applicable. With those settings, I get really good looking video out of this little camera. You have to adjust your light. You have to have good light because, of course, it's a small sensor and a small camera, a little action camera. But with the direct sun, this is supposed to be like a 1.5 to 8 stop ND. And it's got some weird vignetting at 8 stops, so you can only get, honestly, about 6 stops. If you go much over 6, it starts giving you this bizarre kind of weird vignette, and it just don't look good. So I normally run it between 1.5 and about 6. So bright sun actually works pretty good. And then if it's still blown out, I'll allow it to run auto shutter speed to make up for it, because it'll typically push the ISO down to 100 anyway. You know, and I'll just let it make up the difference with the shutter if it needs to, bad enough, if it's bright enough. And this is a K&F Concepts slim fader ND, a 52 millimeter variable ND filter I got off Amazon. And it works really well. But that's my vlogging rig. And if you're into videoing yourself, you want your video camera to be small enough that it makes sense, okay? This rig is that size, okay? It's not so big that it's bulky and awkward to work with. It doesn't take 2 people to use it. It's small enough I can operate it alone, so I don't have to have a second person to video my videos. It makes it real convenient. Now it does have limitations because of that. I don't have, with this camera, pretty much everything's in focus, all right? You don't get that fancy blurry background everyone brags about. So you just have to take it for what it is. If I was worried about cinematic shots, then I wouldn't be using the GoPro except for action shots. And I would probably be trying to use my X-T3 or the Sony or something I have that'll take more cinematic shots. I mean, if you set the focus to manual on the D810, its video is really nice. It has a really nice video output. It just, the autofocus is crap on it. But yeah, that's my vlogging rig. And I just wanted to show it to you, let you see what I was using. And if y'all have any questions about the GoPro setup, holler at me, put them in the comments. You know, do you have a favorite camera that you use? If you do, what is it? Let's hear it. If you think the GoPro is trash and you wouldn't buy one to throw it in the garbage next to your dog food can, then let me know in the comments. I actually like the little camera really well, but not a lot of people do for some reason. But anyway, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I appreciate you guys watching. And get your camera out, go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
And today I have a surprise. My sister gave me as you can tell, well, it ain't moving much. It's about a 6 foot long Alabama king snake. So we're gonna turn him loose down here at the machine shop because they eat mice. I had to go up and catch him. He was actually eating her chicken eggs. But yeah, let's let him out. Let's see what he does. There he is. He's not mean. See, they don't strike. Unless you scare them real bad. See if I can get him to go into the shop. Go on in there. Go in there. There you go. Go into there. Eat them mice. That's the way to be. Yeah. She called me totally freaked out because she don't like snakes. I told her, don't kill it yet. Let me confirm that it's not a copperhead or something. And then if it's a venom snake, we'll do something with it. But if it's a king snake, I want it because I use them at the machine shop for mice control. So